Welcome to the 25th episode of our Hudson Valley Community College Eyes on the Sky series, an update about current astronomy, space science, and sky events. I'm astronomer Richard Monda, and this is Eyes on the Sky for September 3rd through October 2nd, 2024. The moon is one day past its new phase as we start our academic year. At 1 day old, the moon is an extremely thin crescent and unnoticeable in the glare of the sun. But on the evening of September 4th, a lunar sliver will appear very near the horizon. This could be a challenging observation in the twilight sky, so use binoculars and be sure to look by 8 p.m. Helping us find the moon that evening is the planet Venus. It's located to the upper left of the thin lunar crescent on September 4th. However, Venus's light is also subdued by its low altitude and the dusk sky. On September 5th, a little more of the lunar crescent is lit, and is to the left of Venus. The evidence for active volcanoes on the second planet from the Sun continues to mount. Researchers examining archival data from the 1990s Magellan mission to Venus have found images that show a volcanic vent changing shape and increasing its size in less than just 1 year. By September 6th, finding the waxing crescent is easier, as the moon is slightly higher and slightly more illuminated when it comes into view. That evening, the moon is to the left of the hot bluish star Spica, the constellation Virgo's brightest star. The moon approaches the star Pi Scorpii on September 9th. And just after 8 p.m. that evening, the waxing crescent eclipses this star in a celestial event called a lunar occultation. This special stellar eclipse is best observed through binoculars or a telescope. Then about 45 minutes after the start of this eclipse, Pi Scorpii reappears from behind the lighted side of the moon. On September 10th, the moon, almost first quarter, will be to the east of Antares, the marker star and heart of the Scorpion. Then, just about 6 hours later, the moon will reach first quarter. By that time, though, the moon will have set for sky watchers on the East Coast. After first quarter, the moon is waxing gibbous, and on the evening of September 11th, the moon is near the spout of the Sagittarius stellar teapot. The next evening, the moon is positioned towards the teapot's handle, and it appears east of the Centaur on September 13th. If we follow the angle of the teapot spout about a quarter of the way across the sky, we'll find the constellation of Corona Borealis, the northern crown. Below its Epsilon star is a star named T Coronae Borealis. This star, usually far below what can be seen by the naked eye, is soon expected to flare to naked eye visibility. Named the Blaze Star, T Coronae Borealis is a binary star system consisting of a white dwarf and a red giant. The white dwarf's intense gravity pulls gas from the giant's expanded atmosphere onto the white dwarf's surface. This produces a surge of temperature and pressure so great that thermonuclear fusion occurs on the white dwarf's surface and intensifies its brightness. By September 14th, the moon has entered the region of Capricornus, the sea goat, and the moon continues to wax as it moves through this constellation. The moon has entered Aquarius by the 16th and becomes full at 10:34 p.m. on September 17th, when the moon is seen on the eastern side of Aquarius. That evening, a shallow partial lunar eclipse takes place when the moon enters Earth's dark umbral shadow at 10:13 p.m. Maximum eclipse occurs 31 minutes later at 10:44 p.m., when about 9% of the moon's diameter, or 4% of the moon's surface, is covered by the Earth's dark shadow. The moon exits the umbra at 11:16 p.m., and the partial lunar eclipse ends. A lunar eclipse only happens at full moon, and this full moon is not only the harvest moon, but it's also a supermoon. I guess we can call this event a partial lunar eclipse of the super harvest moon. This super harvest moon appears in the sky near Saturn. Using a telescope, watch Saturn's rings over the next several months as the Earth and the ringed planet line up and the tilt of the rings becomes less and less. Saturn's rings will appear edge-on next March when the Earth makes a ring plane crossing. And it's not over for this full moon. About 5 hours after the lunar eclipse ends, the moon will eclipse the planet Neptune in a planetary occultation. Once the moon is past full, then its phase is waning gibbous, and it rises later and later in the evening. By 11 p.m. on September 21st, the moon is approaching the Pleiades star cluster, which is positioned on the back of Taurus the bull. The next evening, the lunar gibbous is above one of the bull's horns and above the planet Jupiter. Earlier that day, the autumnal equinox occurs at 8:44 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, marking the beginning of fall in the northern hemisphere. The lunar gibbous continues to wane as it passes under the bull's upper horn during the later evening on September 23rd. The star at the tip of this horn is shared with the constellation of Orija, the charioteer. Last quarter moon occurs at 2:50 p.m. on the 24th and rises over the northeastern horizon a few minutes after 11 p.m. that evening. The next morning, the waning crescent is in the east and seen against the midsection of Castor, in mythology, the mortal of the Gemini twins. It's also above the bright stellar appearance of Mars. During the morning of September 26th, the shrinking crescent is next to Pollux, the marker star of the other twin. As the end of September 2024 approaches, the crescent moon is in the dawn sky. On the 29th, the moon is against the stars of Leo and next to its brightest star, Regulus. The next morning, the moon continues through Leo, and on October 1st, an especially thin lunar crescent will be low in the eastern sky. As a note, watch for Comet Tsuchinshan-Atlas in the dawn sky at the end of September and into early October. Then by mid-October, this comet will be in the evening sky. It's expected to be at least bright enough to be seen through binoculars, if not brighter. Finally, 2 weeks before or after a lunar eclipse, there is a solar eclipse. On October 2nd, as seen from the South Pacific and passing through Easter Island, there will be an annular or ring of fire solar eclipse. This eclipse will be similar to the one that took place in the western United States on October 14th, 2023, as was seen from, for instance, Albuquerque, New Mexico. Thanks for watching the 25th episode of our Eyes on the Sky series. I'm astronomer Richard Monda, reminding you to watch for our monthly Eyes on the Sky updates in our College Campus Chronicle. And as always, keep your eyes on the sky.